Greetings, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. We have participants from all around the world, and this is the session 2 of the Journalists Emeritus Foundation's Global Youth Leadership Program. So by providing leadership opportunities, capacity building sessions, our aim here is to really empower youth advocates, young professionals to transform the world through innovative projects for sustainable development and peace. Our mission is to go forward for the timely and gender-sensitive implementation of sustainable development goals. And as you know, every month we have a specific theme. And as CSW is around the corner, I cannot think of any better focus area for the month of March. So we have very distinguished speakers with us today, Houry, Geudelekian, and Giulia, Tariello. I will make introductions for both. For the timeline of the program, we will first host Houry for about 30 minutes. She will share her remarks for 10 to 15 minutes, and I'll open the platform for any questions or reflections to Houry, as this is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to have her and ask any questions or share any reflections from different parts of the world. So Houry, a dear friend and a real pioneer, a champion of women's rights, is a former chair of NGO Committee on the Status of Women, but I believe she's still serving as an advisory. Houry has a professional expertise in project management, marketing, and public relations, with a passion focusing on human rights. And she has been involved with many, many nonprofits and academic institutions, chaired, fundraised for special events. And given her capacity, she has also served as a founding member of the Cities for CEDAW campaign, as well as Beijing Platform for Action plus 20. So as noted, a real pioneer of women's rights, as anybody can think of when we say NGO CSW. So over to you, Houry. Thank you so much for joining us today. I would really appreciate, to receive your remarks on the current agenda of the NGO CSW, available mechanisms, excuse me, at UN for girls' empowerment, women's rights, and the role of young individuals in the room. How could they be a part of this global momentum?
Oh, thank you so much, Emre. It's always a pleasure working with you. Your passion, I feel like we're somehow connected through some genes in our past, because I'm so grateful for anyone who prioritizes youth, and especially bringing from different parts of the world, because you are absolutely right. Even though we're all humans, there is a connection between all of us. We all also experience things differently. And I'll just also add the fact that I'm actually Armenian, born in Beirut, Lebanon. So I personally have gone through a lot of, and I'm also a survivor of early marriage. So there's a lot of history in my own background that makes me fight for human rights, especially gender equality and education for young girls and boys. So having said that, I also can tell you that 12 years ago, I accidentally stumbled into an event at NGO CSW. Actually, somebody told me about Commission on Status of Women. And then they said that, if I really wanted to be involved with civil society, NGO CSW is the place. And I just have been enamored by the possibilities of this coalition and what we have been able to achieve collectively. This is not a one-woman show for sure. I was an advisor at first, then on the executive committee, then became the chair, and now I'm back to being an advisor. And in the last 12 years alone, we have quadrupled our followers and interests, only because the topic touches people in a way that they understand and realize how important it is. I personally believe in grassroots work. I personally believe an individual being able to make a difference in the world. And at the same time, I believe the collective and the global level is also important. So I always say local to global, global to local, and CSW happens to be global. It is as and the other thing I can say, and because I'm civil society, I actually can say a lot of things that other people might not be able to say. the UN system in so many ways sometimes seems broken, because you wonder why they can't stop wars. You wonder why they can't live together, 193 member states who also did SDGs. I'm sure you guys know a little bit about SDGs. They were able to come up with 17 goals and did an amazing job in agreeing on the document, yet we don't see that much change. So, and again, they can't stop wars and famine. And you wonder why? Why can't, like, why do we even support them? It's because the only space that brings global leaders together, and we, the ones, the civil society who and the activists who can actually advocate at that level and also bring in the voices on the ground, are the important liaison, right? So that basically is what NGO CSW's role is, making sure that there's a platform. I mean, we used to say this, but now literally there is a virtual platform. But we started our forum because many grassroots organizers could not get into the UN to be heard, to learn, to advocate, to bring back information to um, their homes. So we created this forum that we call right across the street from the UN. And one of the buildings is literally across the street. And we started with like maybe 50, 60 parallel events, and also leading up to the CSW meetings and information sharing, advocacy, um, and then realized the demand was so much, where we are right now. This is our second year to do a hybrid forum where we have 800 parallel events, over 10,000 people globally participating, both in person and virtually. That's what hybrid is, duh. Okay. and and it's, the demand does not seem to slow down because we haven't fixed this world yet, right? And the chances of us fixing this world doesn't seem very reachable. And this is where youth comes in. This is where, from the beginning, when I started volunteering at NGO CSW and noticed that most of the committee members were amazing women who have achieved so much in their lives, they are retired, because the truth is, we are basically a coalition of volunteers. NGO CSW does not have a huge budget. We, over the years, because have added so many events, have figured out ways of making money to hire an assistant or an office manager, but we are a coalition of volunteers. So it's difficult to really have, like, we don't have a mandate other than make sure to create a space to bring women's and girls' voices into the UN. So we ended up with a lot of volunteers who are retired and, nice people, but not enough young people. So over the years, we have actually added more. First, we started with YLYP, YPs, young professionals. And then we added youth leaders and young professionals. And I actually want to share one link. There's a lot of links I can share, but I know Cemre is also really good at this. But this year, actually, we pivoted into starting a fellow program. And the first 20 are actually on this link. And I just can't tell you, I know my time is limited, I don't want to talk too much, how empowering and impressive and inspiring it is. Just like I'm sure Cemre feels about all of you. It's like to be able to get young people around the world to commit to speak up and to devote time is just mind-blowing to me. It gives me energy to keep going, because I'm obviously now at the older scale. I started when I was 50. I'm about 62 right now. And it's just very inspiring for me to see these young women. And our goal is to keep growing this cohort. We want to choose 2 leaders, first 20, and then have them, because that's the other thing. With young people, it's always good to have that intergenerational dialogue, but it's also important to give people the power to make decisions and take the rein into their own hands. And I feel like I talk too much about NGO CSW, but I can also tell you why CSW is so important, because of the power that civil society brings. To this day, it is still well known in the UN system that it's the second largest gathering at the UN after the General Assembly. I know change climate change has also brought in huge amounts of people, but member states love showing off during CSW, and we take advantage of that, and we hold their feet to the fire. This year, for example, I just shared the UN Women website that explains the themes, and the priority theme and emerging theme. This is also something that member states decide, but one of the advice I always give is that it really is not, the priority theme is very important, and most of our parallel events are around that, but we also always have to see the connection between all of these different issues, right? Because poverty is not just alone, technology is not alone, it's all connected to military spending, for example, right? I mean, they're all connected. So it's really important to educate yourselves as much as possible about all the issues that damage this earth. But then it's also very important to have a passion, a single issue that you can actually spearhead and master and be an expert at it, and bring your expertise into these conversations. So I definitely recommend for all of you, if you have the time, to sign up on our virtual portal. If you are going to be in New York City, please feel free to come to all of our parallel events, up to 400 of them in 3 different buildings. They're all free, and you don't even have to sign up. You just go in and out as you wish. That's the difference between us and the UN, where you need a badge, you need all kinds of ECOSOC accreditation, but we make this available and free for everyone. But you don't have to be in New York City. Like I said, you really will get a lot out of this by just signing up on the portal and attending events, speaking up. And I think I'm going to just leave it at that for now, because I would much rather be having a conversation with you than me just doing a monologue.
Thank you so much, Houry, for your remarks. To note, we had many participants joining after you started speaking. So I just want to note that CSW, Commission on the Status of Women, is about to start on March 11. And we have this wonderful platform, NGO CSW, separate from the UN entities itself, providing a wonderful, expansive platform for us as civil society leaders to be active, to create our own arena just right across the UN. And in the workshop session, part 2, I will walk you through the virtual portal that Houry just referenced. So skipping on that, as we will spend time on the platform itself, reading through what teams or events are being held both virtual and in person, I'll just go ahead, break the ice, and ask you a couple questions. Then I would really appreciate, given the 15 minutes we have, if colleagues can also share their reflections on the themes that we have been discussing. So Houry, one important question I have for you is regarding he for she's. So when we think of CSW, women's rights, girls' empowerment, there is really this misconception that it's regarding women's only, or as if we should be the only ones concerned about women's rights. But we're talking about 50% of the population in any given country. So women's empowerment, girls' education means exactly the same level of prosperity, advancement for the second half of the generation as well. So how do you analyze male participation in such platforms? Is it enough? Or what should we do to encourage our counter colleagues to be more on board? or any advices that you have for our gentlemen in the room who are also passionate about this particular topic?
Thank you. That's a brilliant question. And thank you so much for a blast from the past. He for she was one of our favorite projects to engage with UN women. And that was during Beijing Plus 25. And we're actually getting close to Beijing Plus 30. And I'm sure Timray will tell you all about that. First of all, that was one of the first things I was going to note and be very impressed and congratulate you on bringing in so many male allies, which is what we call them. They are our allies. And we work really hard, and you can see from our fellows, we have very few, because NGO-CSW is always singled out as women's and girls' empowerment, and people's imagination doesn't go further than that, and they go, oh, so it must be a women's and girls issue. Well, without male allies, I don't think we can achieve anything. Just like when I said with the global and the local, right? We can't do everything on the local level and succeed, and we can't just keep policies at the global level and succeed. There has to be connections and collaborations and partnerships. And I'll give you just one example. Imagine a woman or a girl trying to make a change within her own family. If the father, the brother, the uncle, the cousin, the male family members are not really listening, understanding, and helping her achieve her goals, it's just not possible. Like, we really have to be in this together. Males in position of power, for example, must be educated and enlightened on what it means to have gender equality and how it is important for their own family, work, income, peace, all of the above. They must understand that uplifting women is not a competition for them. It is something that will help in whatever situation, right? I mean, there's so much data out there that you can easily find about what happens when a woman is educated, when a woman has access to work. You know, I don't have to, I'm sure, convince you of all that. You're all here because you believe that. So it is very, very much important, and I appreciate the male allies. And he for she was an incredible, like, so many people signed up, and we had an incredible success with that event. But that doesn't mean we just wait. My goal is always to be in a creative room like this. And this is why I love our fellows this year. When we're meeting with them, when we're discussing, they inspire me. They give so many ideas. We got to come up with even more ideas. We're done with he for she. What do you guys think? What should be our next step to really achieve our goals?
Thank you. Giulia, any reflections you have on either he for she's or CSW overall?
Yeah, I'm very thankful for this insightful presentation. I attended CSW last year, and I know, of course, about NGO CSW. I visited the website and the platforms, and I think it's really, really important that there is a platform and the opportunity for young people to engage during CSW, since I, of course, acknowledge the limits that the UN imposed to those young people. And I am among those privileged ones that can enter the UN and have a badge. Still, I am a young person, so I advocate for those who don't have the privilege as the way I have, and that's why I believe it's really important that all the people are aware that there are such opportunities to engage during CSW, and of course that they still have the opportunity to engage virtually, because New York has a cost, and there are also other limits. For example, obtaining a visa or the accommodation cost is really, really high. So it's important that people from all over the world can still engage during CSW, and of course in any other events related to the UN. That could be CSW, the ECOSOC Youth Forum, or any other initiative. And also, I'm a part of this chat group about the SOTF, the Summit of the Future. And there are a lot of young people writing that they will be attending CSW, but there are also many other young people that are wondering why they didn't know about CSW, why they didn't know how to apply to engage for CSW. So I really realized that there is this lack of information, there is a gap between those who know where to find the information, where to find the opportunities, and those who are a bit less informed. But that's not their fault, of course. The fault is how the question should be how we can spread the awareness of those opportunities. So I'm grateful for what you presented, and of course for the work that you did.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Julia.
Yes, that's very important. And on that, I believe it's surely our responsibility to spread the word as well. But there are so many state-led opportunities as well, and I believe such ministries as social development, or sometimes in some countries, we still have women's affairs ministries, children ministries. Those should be another target, right? That we should contact to see how we could be a part of this official delegation groups coming to New York. I believe now the number of countries are increasing with civil society members included covering their costs to attend the sessions at UN.
That's right. And that actually reminds me, and I'm really waiting to hear from anybody else in this room. Please don't be shy. I love having conversations with young people, but that's actually a very good point, Jamria, because people always think that, oh, who am I? I don't know anything. I don't know who to reach out to. My government will never answer. The fact of the matter is that most governments, it should be, but it's not, obviously, works for the people, right? And at least at a local level, it should be easy to start engaging with your mayor, with your governor, depending on what country and how large your country is. And you'd be surprised. I've always, this was a big learning curve for me, how you can really reach high level government people by sending letters, offering to help or asking for information. So I would definitely encourage everyone to try to get through their governments as well, not just civil society.
Definitely. I believe Priyanka has a good growing amount of expertise on this, reaching out to state level authorities for opportunities. And colleagues, please, in the meantime, we're just chatting here. Do not hesitate to unmute yourself or just raise a hand up. I'll get you to the platform. But Priyanka, any reflections that you have as a young professional youth advocate?
Sure. Thank you, Jamre, and thank you, Houry and Giulia, for your remarks. And I'm quite aware of that how amazing the NGO platform is, because currently I'm in India, but when I was in Kyrgyzstan, as I work with JWF, and we even organized a hybrid parallel event while our event was also live on the NGO platform. So it was a great gathering, and as already Giulia mentioned, the young people, they are really not aware about the Commission on the Status of Women and how to participate. So when even I and my team there shared that it's a free platform, please come and attend, and they did their own research, and it was having a huge participation, and I was feeling very amazed that okay, young people are even having the interest in participating in that. So that was a great engagement. And even what I did, I also collaborated with the government there. So I invited the government people, UN women of the country, Kyrgyzstan, then UNDP. So all of the stakeholders, they get gathered in a circle, and we did a great job. And that was all possible because we were having our event on the platform NGO-CSW. And thanks to Jamre, as she always keep inspiring others too, and we are having even many side events that are happening at JWF. So even I'm very aware of the Young Leaders Program of the NGO-CSW, and I always keep in mind that I must have to share to other youth advocates and how to educate them so they can also advocate, because that's very important. when you are working on the grassroots, but there are very less opportunities, and they are all having their own cost, right? So when we get the resources, we grow, and then we make other people grow as well. So I think the human rights, the women empowerment is very, very important, and it's very important to get engaged with the like-minded people and how you do your advocacy work. So that's how we together get strong, and we make others strong too. So it's a I also recommend all of the young people here that please go and check the website. There are a lot of opportunities for you all to get engaged and to do the great work and to connect with the great people. So, yes, thank you,
Very
Julia.
well said. Very well said.
Thank you, Priyanka. Last couple minutes, we have it, Houry. If anybody has any other questions, comments, or local feedbacks that you want to share, please go ahead. I'll just ask one more question. The Global Youth Fellows, I think it was the first year that you initiated this platform. When will be the applications open for the upcoming year, or what this fellowship really serves? Could you please let us know?
Sure. That's also a great question. Honestly, like I was saying earlier, our goal is to make it through the forum with these fellows. I think 9 out of 20 are able to come to New York, and the way we've been able to do this, and I should give a shout out to a really good friend of NGO CSW called Women Have Wings, who gave us the funding to be able to do this. And they did that because they believed in our mission and thought it was important. And you'll see all of this on the website too. This is a public information. So our goal is to really make it through the forum and then find 2 from the 20 to lead the next cohort. So when we identify the 2 leaders, again, that will be a collective decision. Every one of those 20s will have the opportunity to say, I'd like to be the leader for next, and then we'll vote amongst ourselves who those 2 are. As soon as we have the new 2 leaders, then they'll set up, and of course, please sign up to our emails. I know sometimes we send too many emails, but they are really good, informative. We'll send out an email, and it could be like by summer, I would say, where we open it up for the next 20. And the goal is really to expand, just like what you're doing, September. This is why we're so connected, right? We can't keep what we're learning to ourselves. We want to share what we're learning. We want to enlarge our cohort, and we want to add more people. And that's not easy to do. That's why it's always also important to pass the baton to the next person to be a leader. So we want those 2 leaders to add 20 more for next year. And then this year's 20 can be they'll mentor, help, and then hopefully we'll still keep going. And then those 40 will add another 20 the year after. And I mean, we already have 300-400 members in our YPs, but they're not active. And it's hard to keep them active and engaged 24/7. I know anybody in this will agree with me. That's one of the reasons why we want to give the power to lead to others to keep growing. I hope that made sense. And I see my other meeting just started, so let me know. And also, I just want to say, anybody who has questions after I leave, please, you know how to reach me. I will answer questions and comments via email. And I wish, Giulia, I could have stayed the next half hour. I really want to learn from you as well. But I will definitely look at the recording and reach out to you if I have questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Houry. I know that
Thanks.
you have proceeding meetings, so that was wonderful to have you on board. And as I mentioned, I'll walk everybody through the websites as well. Thank you so much. That was wonderful to have you.
Wait, how do you
Thanks a
do
lot.
this? Yeah, I'm not a child,
Thank
but
you,
yeah.
Houry.
Yes, like
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Well, that was a wonderful start off for today's discussion. As noted, Houry is really a wonderful champion here in New York, trying her best to get more capacity building, to get more funding for women's rights advocates, girls empowerment, and really expand the space within the UN system as well, using every form of available opportunity to bring more awareness within the system itself within the member states, that we as civil society members have to be on board to represent local priorities, to really let the member states know what's working or not, and share our policy suggestions with the relevant stakeholders. So moving on, we now will hear from our second speaker, whom is really relevant to the theme of our program, as she is the EU Youth Delegate to the United Nations, Giulia Tariello. She graduated with a master's degree in diplomacy at the University of Milan. Currently, she serves as the European Union Youth Delegate, and last year she was the Italian Youth Delegate to the United Nations. So I can't wait to hear more from her on how she proceeded in her career path. And since 2021, she has been a part of the board at the UN Youth Association of Italy, first as the executive member and later as the secretary of the Milan local branch. So over the last several years, I also observed that youth space at various UN agencies is visibly increasing. And once again, when we refer to youth, we include young individuals till the age of 32. So it includes a broader range of our generation as stakeholders, as decision makers. And recently, we also had one landmark decision, as Secretary General announced Dr. Felipe as the first Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs. So over to you, Giulia, as a rising star. Please tell us more on how you build up your career path toward diplomacy. Tell us more about your mandates at UN, at EU, your priority working areas, and any other reflections that you have for the group today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shamir. And please apologize for my voice. I've been a bit sick. But yeah, everything that Shamir said about me is basically my working path. I moved to Milan in 2021 to pursue my master, but since high school, I wanted to enter the diplomatic world and become a diplomat. And that's why I always been very interested in the different cultures and how it is possible to learn from each other difference and similarities to improve the society that we live in. So as Terme said, last year I've been the Italian Youth Delegate. And since last year, I started to actively advocate for youth rights, for youth empowerment, and especially for having more young people in the decision-making forum. As I said before, I am one of the privileged young people that have the opportunity to sit on the table, to enter the United Nations and speak on the microphone, deliver a statement on the third committee on social development. But I know that many young people don't have this opportunity. So what I'm doing since last year is basically defining core topics, some thematic areas related to the Sustainable Development Goals of, I'm sorry for the ambulance, I don't know if you can hear the ambulance noise. Okay, perfect. So it's defining the Sustainable Development Goal of the Agenda 2030 of the United Nations that most reflects what are my concerns, and especially what I think that the young people concerns are. Not because I want to talk for those who can't, but throughout the whole year, I had the chance to meet with young students, high school students, and university youth associations, movements, to directly understand what they want to address at the United Nations, and of course, then bring back what I learned during my time working with the delegation. So the thematic that I chose is mainly focused on SDG number 4, that is quality education. I believe that education is the key that unlocks all the other SDGs and allows not only young people, but everyone to improve the society that we live in. And that's for the reason that Harry already said before, that all the goals, all the SDGs are interconnected. And this means that, for example, we are talking about gender equality, SDG number 5. But how can I tackle this goal? How can I advocate for this goal if I don't know what gender equality is? If I'm not aware of what are the disparities among genders, what is, for example, the crystal ceiling is. So I have to be educated on that specific theme, on that specific topic, in order to become an advocate for that topic. And this is, of course, referred to any other SDGs or matter of concerns. It can be about climate change or how to build a more sustainable city, or what it means to build partnerships, as it is SDG number 17. And of course, then the question is how we can reach this goal, and how we can educate young people, because it's not really easy. And we mentioned before how some people are privileged because they are more aware of the opportunities that they have, or they are more engaged in their civil societies or with their governments, because we know that it's not secret to mention that every country has its own rules, or its own way of the governments have its own way of interacting with the civil society and with the young people. So the key for me is, of course, not to be afraid, as Houry already said. There are countless of NGOs, countless of civil societies, or also fora with governments and stakeholders where you can reach out. For example, my program, the Youth Delegate program for Italy, it was run by a UNA, United Nations Youth Association, which is part of the WFUNA, the World Federation of United Nations Associations. And I'm sure that maybe in your country there is one UNA, but you're not aware. So there is a website, you can look in the website, and then you can, of course, reach out to this organization, and they will be more than glad to provide all the information on how to implement your own youth delegate program, or just on how to be a more active citizen in your own city or in your own country. So um, returning to how we can educate young people, I was mentioning, there are many ways. For example, I can mention there is this program that is called Escuela Nueva in Colombia. They're teaching a new way of it's a new way of teaching to young people, and it's not just teaching, for example, mathematics or literature, but it's empowering the young people and letting them understand their skills, the interpersonal skills, so that one day they can rely on their own in their own skills, in their own capacities and tools that they grown during the learning years, and then they can be better entering the job place. So if you think about this, we already tackled two goals, that is quality education and decent employment. But of course, as I said before, not to go too long with this intervention, this is also strictly related to CSW. Of course, I will be attending CSW on March 11th, starting on March 11th, and I think that, of course, as young people, we are really important in the process of decision making, and when it comes to help to challenge the societal norms and stereotypes. And this is because we, of course, have a new perspective that in other cases maybe not taken into account, for example, by, I don't know, old government officials, especially I can talk about it, the Italian ones. And of course, I think that our generation, and of course the next one, feel the challenges, sorry, the challenges more interconnected. We know that something that we do in, I don't know, in Europe will interfere with someone living in Papua New Guinea or in the Fifi Island or in South Africa. So we know that even if we are experiencing differently the challenges, they are connected. So we need to find different solutions for a common goal. And this is something that I will also bring during CSW in my involvement in the negotiations, but also for the side events that we are organizing with the theme of education, poverty, and of course, gender equality. So I just want to conclude with this little quote that is, we can help everyone and advocate for everything that we want without moving from where we are. We have many tools, can be the social internet, can be our own computer, phone, or our friends and peers, and we can just use these tools to advocate and find the thread that link us with the youth worldwide. So just we can do it. We just need to to start and take the steps. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Giulia. Well, I have some reflections to share, but please just reminding everybody in the room, whenever I see a hand up, I'll include you in the screen. So you have touched upon many important points, but I believe the most crucial one for me was that our local priorities may be different given country-specific cases and situations, local governance or regional governments. I think that's why it's really important that we take this development approach from bottom up, because before the Sustainable Development Goals, we had Millennium Development Goals. And in that period of time, I believe it was 8 or 9 goals, not sure about the number right now, but the approach was not really inclusive. We really did not have much opportunity as civil society members on the ground at UN premises. I did not see many young colleagues advocating for the rights of young individuals to be decision makers. So that was really one of the most challenges that UN had to encounter, and the reason for the failure of MDGs, Millennium Development Goals. But now the system is really changing. It's really progressive. But given how huge the body and mechanism of UN is, it's truly taking time. But I do see the progress myself, being active at such platforms since the last 10 years. So you also said that there are different solutions for same challenges, and quality education is a unlocking key. Can you make your reflections on this a little further, elaborate on it? Because I know when we say SDG 4, it's not only the formal education that we are speaking about. The civic education also plays a very crucial role. So what are the roles of youth in this moment to lead a civic education apart from university or professional development? What can we do to foster civic engagement for sustainable
Yes.
development goals?
I'm absolutely, I'm not, actually, of course, I refer to formal education when I speak about access to quality education, but I think it's also extremely important to guarantee informal education. This can be in many forms, can be through a seminar, a workshop, or as I mentioned before, during my tenure as Italian youth delegate, we gathered with many young people, not to make a lesson about what we learned, but actually to have an interactive dialogue as the one that we are having today, to of course teach them, tell them what we learned from the UN and what the UN are doing for young people, because sometimes we just feel that the United Nations are not doing enough, but that's not the whole truth, the whole reality. As you said before, we have a UN Youth Office, we have a new appointed Undersecretary General for the youth. So the UN are doing many things, but the thing is that as young people and non-young people, we have to bring back all this knowledge to the ones that otherwise cannot don't know about these things. So it's through conferences, workshops, and I also believe in the power of social medias, that if they are used um, of course, in a positive way, they are the most powerful tool that we have. Maybe some of the people that are join us today, they discovered about the panel by just looking on an Instagram story or on LinkedIn post. So it's important for me to use those tools to advocate and to spread awareness about all the, of course, SDGs, or in any area of topic that is close to our hearts. And about what you said also in different solutions, or yes, different solutions for same challenges. For example, yesterday and today, I attended this conference on the higher north, and I see here a Norway colleague here, and it was with the University of Norway, and we talked about the limits of access to education in the most remote areas of the Arctic. And I started my intervention reflecting on, like in 2 years, I learned about all the challenges that the African countries are experiencing, how they don't have digital infrastructures, how they don't have Wi-Fi or schools for children to study in. But I never heard about the same challenges of living in remote areas that the higher north youth is experiencing. And this for me was enlightening, because I never thought about, I don't know, the global south and the global north are, in geographically speaking, are experiencing similar challenges. And so I did my research, and as I said before, I found this Escuela Nueva, this it's a new program in Colombia, or another program in Mozambique. They are using a radio connection to spread knowledge and to educate young people that don't have internet connection. And this is an amazing solution that can be implemented worldwide. So something that sometimes we take it for granted, I don't know, saying, oh, in maybe this solution that is applied in Mozambique cannot be applied in northern Norway. That's not true. We just need to learn from each other. And those platforms, and this is a way of informally educate the young people of the opportunities and solutions and best practices that they have and they can implement in their own country.
That's very correct. Thank you for these reflections. And as you spoke of the role of social media, I want to emphasize that this year marked the 13th year, the consecutive 13th year that we have our freedom and access to knowledge on internet, on social media decreasing on a constant rate. So this is really a signal. When we see the rise of authoritarian regimes or undemocratic states, the number one target that are by the state authorities are unfortunately on citizen journalists, media professional members, or civil society members. And internet is another platform that is under target. But this really signals that it's making a difference. That's why it's under target. So it's crucial that we should be more connected on internet, on social media platforms, just like you noted, and you're very active at your social media platforms, sharing opportunities, sharing your speaking engagements. We already shared your profile links with our audience here, but please go ahead and follow her. And she has many colleagues as well, that Giulia leads the same advocacy, same mandate in partnership with other colleagues. So here I want to note that Yes, by introducing you, I underlined that you have a, Beyza, I'll get back to you. I saw your hand, that you have a career in diplomacy. You completed your advanced degree in this, but working with other hubs of young individuals, could you please also elaborate? We have many young professionals here coming from different professional backgrounds, including STEM, including engineering branches, medical majors, what have we. So any other reflections for professionals working on different areas, but not economics, not political science, or not diplomacy? Do we still have the same platform available for other professionals?
Of course, we have the same platforms. If you're here, I can speak for the United Nations headquarters, but if you studied, you did medical studies, there is the World Health Organization. Or if you are interested, I don't know, in science or in meteorological, there is the UN agency on what's there is, I don't know, for the meteorological, or also if you're interested in agriculture, there is the FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization. And these are just some examples. So you don't need to have a background in political science or international relations, diplomacy. You can have the passions or the background that most fits your inspirations for your future, and you can still be an advocate for what you study and what you believe it's important for your own community, and of course then the entire globe. I did for example, as I said, I'm part of the delegation in New York, but since last year and a half, I have been working with the Food and Agriculture Organization to implement the Youth Delegate program at the FAO. And that's for me an important step, because there is no need to be a student of ER, but you can be I don't know, passionate of agriculture. You can be you can
Food
have
insecurity.
exactly food insecurity on any field, and you can still be a delegate. And this is better, because I can go to the FAO and speak about diplomacy, but I'm surely cannot speak about food security, because it's not my thematic area. So I urge you to find, because it exists, to find your agency, but not just the UN, in general, for other NGOs, civil society groups, that will be more than glad to have you on board and to work together in this field. And then just lastly, of course, the SDGs are like, they are broad. They're not just for ER. I mean, political science is the broadest things, the broadest subject and the broadest university course that I heard of, and of course I've studied. But um, I can know a little bit of everything, but not specifically. If you studied, I don't know, just to remain on food and agriculture, you will definitely know more than me how to tackle um, climate change or food security or any other SDGs that are more connected to your background. So just don't feel less or don't feel enough to work at the UN or in any other agency, because they are looking for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Your professional experiences was really concrete to answer this question. Thank you so much. So Beyza, over to you for any reflections or questions.
Hello, everyone. I have a question, but I first wanted to do a reflection. And I also want to thank Giulia for the insightful information she has given. The things you said about education made me think of my own experience. You said there are different solutions for every country for the same problem. Here in Germany, I live in Germany, the formal education is quite technological and quite improved, but there are projects on social education, and I join a education center where we have youth groups, and I have a group of girl youth where we organize social travels and some readings together in order to try to make networks and friendships, and also try to make their lives easier in Germany. And for the question, I wanted to ask Giulia about which of her skill sets does she find the most useful on this career path, because it is important to look for opportunities to apply, but I wanted to know which skill sets are most sought after.
Thank you very much for your question, and of course for the reflection on the activities that you're doing in Germany. There are a round of skill sets that are useful in this field. Of course, I may say the diplomatic ones, because I have the opportunity to interact with diplomats. But I think that the most important ones are first the perseverance, because it's sometimes we will arrive in front of a lot of closed doors, and we can feel very disheartened when we think about our future, because I think that most of us are afraid about our future, and we are maybe not willing to create a new generation because we are, our own generation is threatened. So this disarmament feeling can be beaten up with the perseverance, and of course the feeling of unity among each other. And this is the interconnectedness of the challenges, but also of every action that we do towards a future that can be better for us and for the future generations. And I also think that the other skill that, I don't know if it's a skill, but it's connected with this one, is to not be afraid. We already mentioned this, not be afraid to reach out to your government, but not just the government, because I understand that it can be really difficult for some of us in countries that have more barriers in reaching out to governments. But we can use an approach bottom up. We can reach out firstly with our peer. We can create a group, as the one you mentioned, with your colleagues in Germany. You can have a little group and try to understand what the other peers are would love to tackle or want to feel improved in our community. And then once you have your own group, you can start to enlarge it, and it becomes bigger and bigger. And then perhaps you can become an NGO, and then you can arrive to the government and say, hey, I'm here, this is what I want, and you have to hear me. So the perseverance, the not to be afraid, and adaptability, of course. Like in my experience, I live in Italy, and we have European time zone, and I work until 2 a.m. because, of course, I work for the New York delegation. So you have to be really, you have to adapt to those kind of things. But this is also a great thing. It's not just a negative one, because I have the opportunity to engage with many people, and I think that here we represent many countries. So that's the greatest thing. I don't know if these are skills, but I think that these are important things to remember and have.
Well, if not skills, I think these are still crucial norms maybe that we should be embracing going along the way, because human rights work, human rights advocacy is a long-term procedure. We cannot change things overnight. Sometimes it's taking decades, it's taking years, but if we don't do this job, nobody will. So that's why we have to keep on doing the work, leading the advocacy, both first on local grounds, then taking it to the global arena. I have a couple more participants asking the floor. So Samiha, over to you. And I see 2 other hands. I'll be coming along the way as well. But Samiha, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Firstly, thank you for all the amazing information shared here today. So I've recently grown this interest over a particular field where gender inequality is so highly associated with the global climate change. So I was just wondering that since UN already has a lot of research on this, so they will definitely have like a lot of other information on how youth and we as a future society can impact on this particular field where we actually are able to accommodate more resources to women, and at the same time we're able to teach to the to our generation and also the generation that are forthcoming, that why gender inequality and global climate change are so interconnected, because I just do not think that enough awareness has been spread about it yet. So what exactly is UN doing right now, and what does UN plan to do in the future? Thank you.
Thank you for this question. It's a really difficult one because, yes, we talked about gender equality, but this is I'm trying to focus on gender equality in a more interconnected way, not just, I'm not really an expert on gender equality and climate change in terms of the policies or practical examples. But I do think, I do agree with you when you say that it's not, that we are not aware enough on the interconnectedness among between climate change and gender equality. I think that it's relevant that we have that more given more space to young women that are more experiencing the climate change. I can think about, for example, countries that are experiencing floodings, and then for women it's more difficult for the female hygiene or to have a female products for, or because of the floodings or because of the drought, they don't have I don't know, safe water to you know, to be safe during a menstrual period. So they are very connected, and I repeat, I'm not really an expert, but I do believe that we need more more women, young girls to testify on this, and what we can do in, of course, trying to open for when it comes for me, for example, in me organizing a side event, is to having those young people in the panel speaking about the problem, speaking about the character of interconnection among all these challenges, and of course underlying how women are the most affected for the climate change, for the lack of employment, the lack of quality education. So it's everything is really connected. And it also need to be approached with a transactional approach and cultural. So, because we can speak about gender equality, but then we have also to speak about minorities. So if you are a white woman, you experience some challenges, but if you are a black woman from a minority, you have other challenges. So we have to think about all these differences and to try to find a solution. Maybe I can answer this question more better after CSW, because I'm sure that I will get to know more people and understand better how other NGOs or civil society organization are committed towards this goal.
I would also like to add another perspective, because it's not possible to be an expert covering all the SDGs. That's not feasible. But being cautious of some of the SDGs, like my focus areas are gender equality 5, 16, peaceful institutions, peace and security, and 17 global partnerships. But I can still be mindful about the intersectionality of all the SDGs and try to create platforms where I get experts of the matter subject around the table and create opportunities as a gender expert or as a human rights expert advocating on women's rights, both political and civil. where does climate change enter to the room that may impact my social rights, my civil rights? So, creating even platforms really works towards achieving SDG 13, climate change, with a specific gender sensitive lens. So thank you so much, Samiha, for this question. We see more of interactions with climate affairs and the rest of the human rights agenda. This should be on top of our priority list at all times from this day going onwards. So thank you so much. I'll take 2 more questions. If anybody would like to share any more reflections, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll wrap the session with Giulia, and we'll proceed to the workshop part. So Abdul, over to you, and then I'll take Haruna.
Okay, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I really learned a lot about it. And I have 2 questions, and my question will be focusing on being the youth delegate to the UN. I'm from Benin Republic. That's the first time hearing about it. First and foremost, the first question I will ask, how can I be, for example, is it possible to work as a youth delegate at the same time having your own professional work? For example, I'm a teacher. As a teacher, can I also represent my country as a youth delegate to the UN? Is that possible? And now the second question is that what are the different steps to know whether my country has a youth delegate to the UN or not? Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul, for this question. It's been 2 years that I am in the youth delegate sector, and with my colleagues, we are really trying to work in order for other countries to implement the program. And we know that, of course, there are some limits that they may vary country from countries. To respond to the first question, you are a teacher, you can be a representative of your state. Of course, yes. I just was a student last year. I'm now graduated, but still students. Most of the delegates are still studying in university, or not just university. But then there are many ways of implementing the program. They vary country for country. For example, in Italy, while studying, I had to travel in Italy to meet the students and the NGOs and of the civil society, and then, of course, travel to New York. So it was really difficult to have all these things working together, and of course finding the time to still be a student and have this work. But this is not practical work because I earned no money. I did this as a volunteering activity, so this is also a really big limit. And on the other hand, there is, of course, a need of fundings for countries to implement the program, because for every time that I travel to New York, all the expenses were covered by the government. So I never paid for my flight or accommodation in New York. So what I can tell you about the program is that I know that there is this German NGO. It's called CRISP, and they invested in some Eastern African countries. For example, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. I don't remember the others. South Sudan too, and they have the youth delegate program. But I can also tell you that only Tanzania has officially recognized the youth delegate. So here is the double phase of the process. When you have an Western and a European NGO investing in your country, that is a great thing, because you allow young people to actually be included and feel part of something. But at the same time, those, for example, Tanzanian youth delegate, they travel to New York and they had the chance to enter the UN because their delegation recognized them. But the South Sudanese delegates, since they weren't recognized by the delegation, they traveled to New York, but they couldn't enter the United Nations. So at this point, we have to ensure that once you are in New York, for example, you can also enter the United Nations. So how we can ensure this? And I can also send you, if you want, you can write me and all of you, or I can send it to Chamri and then she will share with you. There is this report. It's called Global Youth Voices, and it's financed by the EU and the National Youth Councils of some European countries. And they did interviews with youth delegates, not just the European Union countries' youth delegates, but also, if I'm not mistaken, also for these South Sudanese and Tanzanian ones, on how the program is managed in their own country. And then in the ECOSOC Youth Forum, there will be the launch of a new report that there is the minimum standards. And this will tell us what are the minimum standards that a country should have in order to implement the Youth Delegate program. And a little spoiler, in order to have this program, the country, the government should be a democratic one. Because if you are democratic, you can acknowledge the young person, and that the young person voice is as valuable as much as a real delegate one. And this should not be a limit. The democratic country should not be a limit, because for now only democratic country had the youth delegate program. But this doesn't mean that other countries that have other regimes or other forms of governments cannot implement their program. We don't know what could happen some years from now. And I can also suggest you to go and look for the UNDESA, UNDESA. I will write it in the chat. UNDESA Youth Delegate Program. You can find on Google, and there is the explanation. There is also a visual card and a report, but it's a bit dated. It's dated 2020 about the youth delegate programs. So if you have this, you can, I don't know if you know any NGOs or someone in your government, or also you can write an email. The email addresses are open to everyone. Write an email to your delegation in New York with a report and say, I would love to implement this program. I am willing to speak with you, and if you want, I can of course help you in the process. So I'm really, I hope that the 193 countries will have the youth delegate program one day.
Well, if we don't have a youth delegate program of that specific country or no funding, maybe that's where to start. Start doing advocacy to raise more awareness on the need that there is missing young professionals' participation in such arenas. So that's where advocacy is really playful, is really impactful to fill in the gaps. But thank you so much, Abdul, for the question and raising awareness. I also shared a couple links in the chat referencing to your question that if you're able to keep on with your own professional background. Yes, in the Department of Global Communications, the link that I have shared in the chat, please review that. You will be able to see that all the young professionals serving in the committee of Department of Global Communications is in fact working on some other NGOs, or they have their business life going, or what have you, given their profession. Plus, they're advocating at this platform. Just like Giulia mentioned, most of the young professionals are doing this advocacy as a +1 job, not a paid job, I would say, but an advocacy at advocacy level. But it's always possible to turn this into a professional opportunity where you will be getting paid as well. So thank you so much. I'll get the last question from Haruna, and we will be moving to the last session of the day. Haruna, over to you.
Yes, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to thank the organizers for this wonderful opportunity and also share some of my reflection. I find this gathering always full of motivation because prior to this kind of experience, I never thought that there are so many opportunities beneath the United Nations, and mostly in particular, giving youth, prioritizing the affairs of youth. So this is really, really wonderful, and I thank always for this opportunity. And also, I want to share my little experience regard to non-governmental organization. I worked once some time ago. I had the opportunity to start one non-governmental organization named Pan-African Youth Society for Development. So we started it in Nigeria alongside my colleagues at the university, and we later time feel the need to extend its influence to other African countries. So we had some members, few members in countries like Congo, and we also have in Ghana, I think like 6 countries. So whenever we come to discuss issues regard to our local areas. So we find out what Giulia made mention, that difference of local priorities. So sometimes person from Ghana will see that this is the issue. From Nigeria, someone will say, no, this is the way forward. So we had so many challenges that was actually hindering development. So what we did, we we overlook all differences. We started treating our problem as Africans. We see where our similarities come, then we started solving problems. So that is the very way we started achieving some of the things. So I want to ask this question to Julie. Is it the ideal way of addressing this kind of issue of local priorities?
So the question is, if how we can improve the local priorities.
Yes, when there is this issue of different of local priorities, how do we go about solving them?
How we know about the local priorities is go to your locals. Is you said you created an NGO by yourself. So by creating your NGO, you had the opportunity for sure to engage with your community and your the people who felt that the priorities of your NGO met with their own. Um, and I don't think it's really hard to reach out to your community and to your locals. For example, also by having a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group. It's still, we are still referring to social media, but I think it's the powerful mean that we have. Um, if you create this also virtual community of people that you may know or they can be friends of your friends, then you can create gathering moments. You can have appointments and meet someone somewhere in your, I don't know, you will have a spot that can be meaningful for your community. You meet there, you engage, and you start discussing about what are the things that are limiting the freedom of your community, what are the needs of your community. And once you find a common thread, then you can, of course, as we said before, you can start growing and start to engaging with another group, another community that may have similar problems to yours and similar willing to reach out to the higher steps, to governments or municipalities or whatever it is. So it's, I think the approach, the bottom up approach, it's the one that we have to see. And I don't think it's really hard. If you are still university students, you can start by having a chat group, a group with your colleagues at university, and start to think, what are the things that I like and I don't like about the university? How these things reflect on the community, reflect on the city, the town, the village I live. And then you start growing and growing. So it's really, if Abdul is a teacher, they can go to his students, even if they are, I don't know the age, but even if they are 10 years old, they will know exactly what they like and what they don't like about the school. And they will then grow adults. So the job of Abdul is to go to their students and try um, to let them feel that their necessities are heard. And this is exactly what you have to do. No matter the age you're referring, no matter the audience, this is our own job, our cast. I don't know if it's it's the English word, but yeah, the cast, the goal that we all of us should have and we should pursue. I don't know if this answers your question. I hope so.
Yes, thank you very much.
Well, I'll also add one thing. I work with so many countries where civil society members are encountering state barriers. And in that case, not referring to one specific country, but if that is the case, I always advise civil society members to go and reach out to relatively more democratic states and asking for colleagues over there to raise this problem up. Because writing about this in a country, speaking about this in a country may be threatening your various forms of freedoms, but that's where the global solidarity steps in. And in order to combat these state-led or systemic barriers, we can always call on for others to join this cause and try to bring in more attention. Undemocratic states really care about their global image, despite the realities on local grounds. So if any of us in the room are working in a country where human rights progression is a challenge itself, always utilize such platforms like NGO CSW, it's a global platform, like the Economic Youth Forum that we will have upcoming, or like the arenas that JWF forms, to ask for some solidarity assistance. That is also very helpful as well, to represent your regional priorities through international channels. So please keep that in mind as well. Thank you, Arvina, for your question and feedback.
Thank you very much.
All right, we are coming to an end of our time, our wonderful time with Juliana. Thank you so much. That was great to have you on board. A wonderful opportunity to host you, and I'm pretty sure we will have many other opportunities to learn from your expertise, to have your leadership on board. So I will ask for your any concluding reflections, remarks, and ask our audience to please remain, because we will have 30 more minutes to speak about forming working groups and some other agendas. But over to you, Giulia, for last remarks.
Yes, thank you so much. No, I just want to thank you, of course, for the invitation, and Priyanka for the for sustaining everything and for helping, and for all of the people are attending and of course asking questions. I am more than available to answer any other questions, or if you or just hear about your experience or best practices that you want to share. You have my contacts, and yes, just that, and enjoy the rest of your session.
Thank you so much. She's quite responsive at Instagram and sharing her engagements at UN and in regards to other issues as well. So please go ahead. We have shared her Instagram account, but we'll do so again. DMs are always helpful to make a reach out, and please utilize this available network at your best. Thank you so much, Giulia. That was great to have you.
Thank you again. Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye. Well, I think the first session of today was great. I'll like mentioned, I'll walk you through the NGO CSW website. We still have about 40-45 minutes that we'll spend together, as the mission of this Global Youth Leadership Program is definitely to broaden your network. First, within the participating colleagues from 22 different countries, please do network among yourselves as well. Number two is the opportunity that JWF serves, inviting experts, giving you a platform to ask a question or follow up with these individuals. Anybody that we invite, I promise you, are very responsive to any incoming messages, texts from civil society members. So please do take an advantage of this engaging opportunity. Plus, I would like to share my special thanks to those who spoke up, because this is a time where we also get to know about your professional backgrounds as well. And as we underlined in session 1, if we do not get to know more about you, if we do not hear your speaking skills or your professional backgrounds, we will not have an opportunity to nominate you as a speaker to other platforms or conferences that JWF is engaging. So please do take this opportunity to let us know more about you, ask questions, practice your speaking skills, diplomatic skills, and engage in discussions. That's highly recommended. So to practice such exercises, I'll turn it to Priyanka, as we have the suggested idea to form committees. And maybe in the last 5 minutes or so, I'll open up the NGO-CSW platform to really show you how you can participate in this arena. So Priyanka, please take the lead.
Thank you, Houry. Hello, everyone. Hello again, and thank you for staying with us so far. And it was a really interesting session. I'm myself really enjoying that. So we are having a great news to share. Actually, great opportunities that will be really helpful for you all. And we are planning to open the working groups for this Global Youth Leadership Program. Houry, would you mind please sharing the screen of the sheet so I can just show that briefly and explain that as well. So actually we are having many ideas, and we would love to take your inputs as well, while adding some of the suggestions from your side too. So we are supposedly to have some of the leaders from this group that we are having and forming some committees, some working groups. So let's say I'm just giving some examples, but we will be more than happy to receive your inputs, that if you'll be happy to join us for the programs and different working groups. So the first we are planning, and that's a great opportunity to form a group, which will be the event organizing committee. So if you are interested, then please write us in the group. So the first one gonna be the event organizing committee. For example, on the 12th of August 2024, there will be the International Youth Day. So if any of you are interested to be the lead person of that event organizing committee, or just the members and who are already have experience, even if you don't have experience, but you can you have the confidence that you can organize some virtual or perhaps the hybrid, or maybe any kind of event in your own community, school, or let's say just gathering some of the young people in your community and telling them about for example, International Youth Day, and reporting us back. So we'll recognize that. And the second occasion that I'm going to share is that COP29. That's going to be a big, the climate gathering. So we want you to organize the side events. We will help you in the coordination. We will also help you in different things, providing the speakers if you will be needing. So we are here as a backup and to support you. If you don't know, then COP29 will take place from 11th November to 22 November in Azerbaijan. And I'm completely aware of the fact that it's very difficult for young people, especially, to attend the COP29 in person, because that's very costly, and plus you need an accreditation badge, and the badges are having very limitations, and not all the young people are able to attend that, right? So what we're gonna do, that we are going to form our event organizing committee, and then the committee will be responsible to organize the events. So that's a great opportunity that we are providing, and we'll be happy to help you with that. So please write in the group that if anybody of you is interested to be the lead persons or members or tracers, and I will be sharing this whole info with every detail in the group and by email as well. So the next committee we are going
Priyanka,
to form
can I add one more thing before you go on?
Please. Yeah.
We will open this agenda every single month, but of course, in order to meaningfully engage, that's better if you are a part of the group from the beginning onward, rather than joining the last minute. And these two occasions, the Youth Day and COP, are only the two suggested events. There are so many international days on thematic issues. For example, there is a day on education, there is a day on human rights defenders, there is a day on freedom of media, press, journalists, what have you. So please, you are always more than welcome to suggest any other days on top of these two suggested occasions. But in order to do that, you have to be a member of the committee. So while she's presenting, please write your full name. And if you're interested in event committee, please note that, or any other upcoming committees. And these can always be virtual engagements as well. We do know about the financial constraints that Priyanka also underlined. And please know that JWF has an expansive, very, very expansive global network in more than 24 different countries. So our events are attended by hundreds, watched by thousands at YouTube. So this is a wonderful opportunity to rise and shine and really practice some skills. So please keep the chat active, as we will have the recording and we'll trace the members from the group chat. And any questions, please, you're more than welcome to ask. So over to you, Priyanka.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, exactly. They are just the examples about the International Youth Day and COP29, but there are going to be many, many occasions that you can just engage or just, provide us the ideas. As we will be having many opportunities to engage and to, whenever you are going to organize something, just report us and we'll be helping that. So that is first thing about the event organizing committee. That's a great opportunity for you all. The second is the career development committee. So as we know that we are all young and looking for some professional development, some career advices, and somehow we sometimes feel confused where we have to go. Maybe we are lacking some mentorship or some mentors. So this committee will be, taking into consideration about different opportunities, careers, internship, fellowship, volunteership. So it's a kind of a peer-to-peer networking and peer-to-peer support, where if you are having any opportunity, then feel free to share in the group as well, so others can also know. And then in this career development committee, we can also have some of the special sessions, which will be exclusively focusing on the professional development and resume building, for example, how to write the cover letters and then how to write the purpose statement, because they are very important when you are going to apply some of the big universities, some of the jobs, and then everywhere you have to submit your resume, a cover letter. So we can organize some of the great sessions by inviting the experts from our side, and then we can just educate other of our young people in the program about the resume building. That's very important when you are stepping in the professional world. And then the very important thing that I want to mention with you all today is that please, if you don't have the LinkedIn, I'm sure that you must be having Instagram, Facebook, and other, maybe TikTok, right? Other platforms. But if you don't have a LinkedIn, then please open a LinkedIn account. And if you don't have anything to post first, then I would recommend that you are having the frame of the GYLP program. So please post that, and then we will repost that so you can gain your visibility and people can recognize that you are selected in this program too. So that's very important. Please highlight that the LinkedIn platform is very important to build your networking and to see how other people are doing and to really get the inspiration from that. So more we will be talking about this career development committee very soon. So these two important things are here. The third thing that I want to share with you all is about the working groups. So we are planning to build some working groups as climate issue is biggest issue and biggest concern of this era right now, and young people are really advocating for that. So what we are planning is to build a climate action group. If anybody of you is really interested to do some climate advocacy and have some projects, ideas, and some solutions, so please feel free to write that you're interested in being added to the climate action group. Then there will be the global health group as well, as many of you may be from the health background or are interested or just stepping in the health field. So we will also form the global health group as well. Then as you can see on the screen, there will be many groups, human rights groups. So that depends on your interest. So these are just the examples that we are providing. but we are very open to hear from you all that what are going to be your ideas and in which group we are going to be, or if you are having another specific idea or specific idea of to like kind of opening a group. For example, we are aware that many of you are also from the STEM background, so we are also planning to open a STEM group as well, and very open to know more ideas too. So just talking about more about the roles and responsibility that we are all going to have is that we must have to meet frequently. So these working groups will be having their own internal meetings, and then the leaders, the lead person who are really passionate about to lead the group, they can report us the whole group activity, maybe in the written format or just by letting us know what is happening in the group and how they are planning. So the group of people, let's say the 3-4 person in a group, they can just create an agenda. Then they can also work. It's kind of like a working group. So you can also always work within the group by having the internal meetings. We will help you to provide the potential speakers, or you can also nominate some of the speakers from your side. We will also help you to market your event on our different social media handles. We are having great engagements, as already Jamre mentioned, on Twitter. We are having 17,000 followers, even more than that, and on YouTube we are having great engagement. So that's going to be a great opportunity for your own personal and professional growth, as you will be your voice will be getting heard by being the part of the organizing a community, as we are giving you the opportunity to be the leader in your own field. But we just want to know that in which field are you interested, so we can add you in that specific group. So this is going to be completely volunteer basis job. So you have to like work by yourself, manage your schedule, manage your job or school, and also managing the committee and this working groups too. So in the end, after the successful idea that you must be having, then just report us in the group, and we'll be happy to revise your agenda, to do some edits, or we'll be just guiding and supporting your idea and how to execute that too. And also one more thing, please don't feel isolated or just scared that you don't have any experience. I would suggest that please start from the scratch. You don't need any experience to do that. So I think even if you have zero experience, please get involved, as it will be a really life-changing experience for you all. Because in the future, and especially this is the tech world, and you must be aware of different issues, whatever is happening in the global scale, and how we are connecting virtually and helping each other to like we are growing together, right? So please don't be afraid, and just reach us out and just write in which group are you interested. So I would just reading some chat that people are sharing here. That's a comment from Sarah, but there is a way I can focus more specific on it because I want to pursue. So Sarah, actually, I'm a medical doctor, so I can recommend that, especially the oral health is more a dentistry part, but the global health group will be more advocacy part, where you will be advocating. And I'm sure that even in the dentistry, there are many health issues. For example, you can advocate for different issues which are related to oral and hygienic health in the rural part, right? Because there is a very a lot of problem in terms of water access. Then people get infections in the teeth, and they get the oral infections. So you can just an idea, you can advocate for that. You can talk about how to prevent different diseases which happen by water, which can spread by by saliva, by oral germs and all, right? So just giving you some of the examples. Please do your own research as well. There are many papers available online that how you can advocate for different global health issues. There are many, for example, communicable disease, non-communicable disease, and a lot of things are there as well. So these groups are going to be actually for you, so you can get some experience and how to advocate. Just let us know your interesting topic. Either it can be climate, human rights, women empowerment, or STEM. And just look at the 17 goals and just choose your topic and write us in the group. So I'm more than happy to answer any question here. So please use the chat box to put some comments, or even the WhatsApp group is always open. So we are always try to answer at any time. Thank you, Jamre.
Now is the time, to speak more on this, exchange ideas. It's an open to all platform. You can also raise a hand and I'll unmute you, invite you to the panel. But just like Sarah, please express your interest in any group. This will move on as long as there's an interest from you, because we want this to be a practicing skill, a platform for you. Beyza?
I wanted to ask, in order to join the career group, as I remember correctly, do we need to be experienced in applying for jobs before, or in that kind of things, or is it a place to learn as well?
No, all we need is an interest and passion to be active in the group and be willing to lead or do any of the assigned tasks. No, particularly we will have a mentor assigned to each of these groups. So if you have a question about writing up a resume, or for example, within the links that we have been sharing, if you come up to me and say, "Oh, Cemre, I plan to apply to this job or to this internship, but I need assistance in polishing my resume or letter of intent," we'll sit together and do it together. We just need you to come up. So if you're interested, for us not to forget, please write your name and your interest group in the chat. So we'll be able to trace it and maybe form the committees by latest March or first week of April, I would say. Thank you. And
Thank you, Cemre.
I see. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. We are just overlapping. I was just reading the comment from Tahira, as she's asking, are these opportunities are open for high school students or just for professionals? No, they are open to everybody. I think as early as you can start, that will be really great if you are even in the school. So I think that's a very great opportunity, because you are getting this opportunity earlier than rest of us, right? So they are open to everybody. Please join, and you will be learning and building your networking too. So they are open to everybody. Please just write us your interest, that in which area are you interested.
But I just want to note that it's open to everybody in the group. It's not open to anybody outside of our group, because this is an exclusive gathering and it's a year-long fellowship program. I don't know about your background, but we have a couple high school students in the group as well. If you're one of those, yes, you're more than welcome to join any committee, but only available to everybody in the group. I just want to clarify. Do you want to go ahead with the next question, Bianca?
Yes, I'm just reading the question from Haruna and question from Yes, please. So we don't have, need to have any experience, because even when I started, I'm from a health background, right? But I realized that the climate issue is a great issue, and even it is affecting the human health. I didn't have any experience, just giving you an example. So you don't have, you don't need to have any experience, but just join. Because there are many platforms, there are many opportunities where you can just, gain your experience by sharing your own idea. And you know what? The most beautiful thing is that when you are on the local level, you are working on the grassroots, and people don't know about what are the real problems happening there. So that's a great opportunity for us to talk about these problems which are happening in our country, which are happening in the remote areas, which are really happening in the community, and how we are raising the voice and to taking the bottom to top approach, as already our experts today also mentioned. So just join, and don't get scared about the experience, because we are not here in any competition. That's a very inclusive group, and we are all friends. So just write your ideas in the group. And Beza Bose from Germany is saying that I will be sharing the table in the group with the more details, so you can access that in the group, and I will also share that by email too. So please don't worry about that. You can always learn by watching the table later in the group. And Jamre already shared that in the chat.
It's only a brief screenshot. When you're available, you can post more. And as I said, please, if you're interested, write it here. We're gonna go over the same agenda maybe once more in late March session, but I guess we need to wrap it up by the end of March so that we have time to work on these issues.
Right. Yes, thank you, Jamre. Just one more comment that I'm watching from Lenovo. He didn't write the name. So it's not mandatory to be only being in the one group. If you are having multiple groups, then you can always be a member of different working groups and different committee. As Jamre already mentioned that we just need your dedication, your passion, and your time. And especially the ideas, and I'm sure that we all are having many ideas, and it's not just they are, condensed to only a narrow topic. So you are more than welcome to join any group as a member. But the main thing is that we are looking for some lead members who can really lead the working groups, and we will guide you how to lead that and how to take the report back from the members and report us back. Jamre, do you have
So as
anything
of
to
now,
say?
yeah, as of now, I see an interest in the health group and professional development group. For example, by the end of March, if you do not write anything in the group chat or in the next meeting when we come up with this agenda, once again, if you do not express any interest, other groups will not be available. I want to make sure that we are all on the same page here. The groups will be active as long as there's an interest. So within the next month or so, please explicitly write that you are interested in XYZ committee, even if you're only one person, for example, in health community or in career developments, then we will still assign you to a mentor, or for example, include you as a team member if we will have an event planned along the way for any health related event. So don't really mind about the numbers that are active in the committees, but again, underlining it, if we do not see any interest, for example, in the education committee, we will not have the committee active. So as of now, I see an interest in climate and career development. And if you have any other feedbacks, questions, now is the good time. Other than that, chat is always available at WhatsApp, and we'll again go over on this agenda in the March session. Any other questions?
Is there an estimated amount of time this would be taking, weekly or monthly?
Well, I imagine that maybe meeting twice a month maximum should be all good. Maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, given how productive the group is. For example, if you will organize one event on youth professionals, for example, in August, you still have a couple months ahead of you. And planning over Zoom, maybe chatting over a WhatsApp group or an email chain should be all good to facilitate the work. I don't think this is time consuming for anybody to participate in the groups.
There is a question from Nazib. Yes, we are also having the economic development group as well, and we are even going to share some different opportunities to get engaged in the economic development part. Even today we centered more around the CSW 68, right? So even the priority theme of that is also the economic development, and especially by taking the women in the on the table and talking about that and how women are doing in the economic development. So just to share a very brief, that World Economic Forum is also having many youth professional programs. So please check their website, and even in our previous meeting, I also shared a document where you can also learn about that So even if other young people here, if anybody else is also interested in the economic development or economic committee, then please write us in the group so we can also check that how many people are interested in which kind of specific group, so we can then accordingly build up the groups as well, because only interest of one person will not going to form a big group. So at least we'll be needing 4 members at least to have a group. So please just talk, talk to each other, and you can also have a chat in the group. So it's not that you can always write, more professional comments there. You can also use the chat as as a discussion in between you all while voting for the different groups in the chat. So yes, thank you.
Yeah, I guess as of now, the interest areas are more towards climate, health, and economics. For example, I see Fatima's comment on education. Let's say she is the only one with a background in education interested in serving at a committee. We can always merge them as well. For example, there are many individuals interested in economics or economic development. We can have one panel where the committee will form the content on the progress of economic empowerment for women, for example, and Fatima can always engage in the committee by underlining, for example, the importance of professional education or occupational trainings, how it's important to empower women in underdeveloped nations or global south nations, or what are the educational barriers even in developed countries. So it's always possible to merge groups. Okay, as you continue to make your posts in the group, I just want to take a couple more minutes, as we will need to wrap up in 6-7 minutes. I don't want to take much of your time after the end of the session. I just need to show the NGO CSW website as it's coming along. So the platform that Houry mentioned, and she's the former chair, now the advisory for the NGO CSW forum. This is a platform aside from the UN Women and the official UN entities as well. So we as civil society members are having a chance of organizing a side event. The topic does not matter as long as it focuses on any women's rights or challenges, problems that are encountered by women, girls in any parts of the world. So I do know that we have members from states, not sure about where you're located, but this platform, and I'll share the link again in the WhatsApp chat, there will be hundreds of events, both virtual and in person. So when you click on the forum agenda parallel events here, you will see days from March 11 to March 22. Please, when you're available, take some time, as this is a huge website with a big content. Sometimes it's running slow, but just give me a sec. So this is the front page. Where after you complete a couple steps of registrations, you are in the website. It's a bit slow, maybe because I'm in the Zoom as well. The website is quite user-friendly, not much complicated, as you see a glimpse of it when it was up. You will see the dates. When you click on the dates, the list of events will be listed down. Yes, this is the forum website. We click on it, it takes us to the church center for the UN, where most of the in-person events are held. Again, we click on forum agenda parallel events. And from March 11 to March 22, you will see the list of events. There are over 400 events listed at this platform as of today. And when you scroll down, you will see the topic of the gathering, the date, time, and if the session is in person, you will see these information. But if it's virtual, when the time when the time arrives, as we have countdown here, you will have the Zoom link available in this portal. I'll just walk you through the JWF events. We organize 12 different sessions on this platform in partnership with civil society from 8 different countries. And you can add the events in your schedule so your interest areas are not lost in the rest of the hundreds of events. I'm pretty sure when you're off the Zoom, the website should work. It should work better. You will need to register to be a part of it. It's only asking for very basic information. Just wanted to show you one example, virtual event example. Let's give it one more chance, or I'll just share the link for you to explore. The good thing is, I over the years, I've been participating at CSW since the last 10 years, and it was not hybrid before COVID. So maybe the one of the sole advantages that COVID brought into our lives is this closing the gap of participation inequality across the globe. So with these portfolios, and half of the events are online, I would say. So over the years, I get to expand my network, attending the panels here. I asked questions so that I had the chance to present my expertise areas as well. Then was invited to speak at events, panels, invited to deliver workshop sessions, trainings on my expert areas. So it's really helping. It's really creating additional awareness for you to first represent yourself, your expertise areas, publicity, and your regional priorities as well. So I do apologize. I don't know why the website is very, very heavy loaded at this moment. But please, when you have time, just click on the links. It's a very, very basic website. And as you see, if the event is virtual, it will say, but there are many events where the content is full. I wanted to show you a full event where you will get to see the flyer, read the content, and see the list of speakers. But for some reason, I cannot do that right now. And our time is running. So I'll just send you the events portal. And please note that the sessions are starting March 11th. So by the time we meet next time, the CSW will be over. So if you have any questions on how to participate or how to register or any other CSW related affairs that you need assistance, more information, write us in the chat. And I'll be posting the forum website now in the WhatsApp group. If anybody is not yet in the WhatsApp, that's very helpful for you to be there. Just send the link, as the communication is very faster in the WhatsApp. And any questions? Now is the time before we wrap it up, or we'll send you more info written in the chat. Anything, Priyanka, that you want to add?
I can read a comment from Ayub. I don't know if you will be have answered that, but that's a great comment that we are also working on the interfaith and intercultural dialogues too. So if you can answer that.
Sure. Thank you so much for the interest, Ayuba. In fact, we recently had one interfaith event. World Harmony Week of the United Nations is the first 2 weeks of February, and every year we organize a panel, definitely a virtual one, getting interfaith leaders, community leaders, youth leaders as well from different communities around the table to discuss one particular agenda. And if you would be interested in this, even if we don't have any committees, we'll definitely get you on board the next time we do an event on advocacy in regards to any interfaith or interreligious affairs. But if there is anybody else interested in this particular team, please write in the chat or in WhatsApp. So we'll form a committee on this too. Why not? Thank you. Oh, I see there are already interested individuals. Okay, so we'll wrap up these notes. And March session will be the last time where we will bring this forming committee's agenda to your attention, and we'll wrap it up and start the work by assigning a mentor to every single committee, and we'll take it from there on. Thank you so much for everybody's participation. That was a wonderful, very productive session. And please be active in the chat if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll see you the last Thursday of March with the next month's team. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you,
Oh, thank
everybody.
you too.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.